is operating a boat like this potentially a little bit more practical than something like an adventure boat? I think for some of you, the answer is yes. So keep watching, you'll find out. Boat is just eating this up really, really nicely. Woohoo! This is fun. This is great. $1,300 kilogram light ship. You can max horsepower, 450 bloody horsepower on this thing, but this boat's got the new V10 400, which is going to be fun. 7.99 meters, 3.2 wide, so 7.99 long. She's got about 21 degrees of dead rise at the back, about 45, and a nice cutting action at the front and tapers incredibly nicely. I haven't seen it out of the water, but I've looked at it through the drone and been feeling it all morning. I'm going to tell you right now, this is one of the best ribs I have driven in chop in a while. So we're going to go through some choppy water, we're going to go cross some wind, and then we're going to go find some flat stuff and wind it up. And then I'm actually going to cut to some driving into the waves and chop, but I won't have aerials to accommodate that because it is blowing over 20 knots and my drone just can't keep up with that. I know so many of you keep asking to see the boats into the wind, so I'm going to do my best to accommodate. 150 litres of fuel on board, 320 total capacity. Dan Jones is my name. You're watching Dan's Boat Life. Subscribe if you haven't already, and welcome to Sydney. I love this place. Summer in Sydney, it's hard to beat. All right, accelerate. 3,000 revs, 17 knots, incredibly smooth. This thing, you know, when I'm talking about smoothness, I'm talking about the engine, but the hull as well. I've got my safety strop on today, guys, just an FYI. This is a style of boat that I recommend you do wear the safety strop, if you haven't heard me talk about that before. Let's accelerate. Let's just get the boat up to about 30 knots. We'll see if I keep my hat. Actually, I'll turn it around. All right, going to be entering some waves pretty soon, just coming along at 26. Now we will increase 28 knots, 4,100 revs, total fuel flow. We'll give you that in a second. Okay, 49 litres at 29 knots. Entering the wave zone pretty soon. So this I definitely see as a boat so many of you watching from Sydney. If you live in the eastern suburbs and you want a boat to drive into the nor'easter to Manly or up to Mossman, this is going to be great. Really, really great. If you just keep those speeds at a sensible speed, okay, going through some swell now, cutting through a few turns, heel angle's predictable. Feeling on a rib is always just a feeling of connection with the water, because obviously you're low and you can see everything. I've got my legs spread and pushing my back into this backrest here, which gives me a real good feeling of control. As I'm into the swell now and the boat gets moved around, I ain't going nowhere. So let's go across the wind, increase our speed. Now we're in some proper chop. This is good. Woohoo! This is fun. This is great. Okay, so just now I've got some swell, wind chop and boat chop. The boat is just eating this up really, really nicely. I have observed all day today, no water coming over these tubes, including that back seat. And now let's just have a look at it. So go through the ferry waves, hitting that at 26 knots. Incredible. For a rib, this is great. The tubes are giving me good stability. It's just keeping us dry, including on the side, on the windward side. I'm just seeing the odd drop of water right now. That's not going to offend the girls in their linen. That is awesome. Let's increase our speed a little bit. This windscreen's excellent. I might not have needed to turn my hat around, because at the moment the wind vortices are all the way up here. So from my 5'7" stature, I ain't got no problems, and out to here. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So On a colder day, you do have the wind wrapping itself in like this, so you'd still need to wear a jacket, but your face, you're not going to burn your nose off on one of those cold days. Now I've got the wind chop coming down. We've got a bit of fetch now in this direction, so I'm just running with it, maintaining a speed of 30 knots. Let's just push it a little bit. Okay, fuel flow up to 79 litres now. Bit of a jump from 29 knots to 33. We've gone from 49 to 60 and variable as we go through these waves. This 400 Merc is smooth, it is gentle in the way it accelerates. The sensation, if you're coming from an older Merc, you will notice an improvement in, I'm going to call it comfort, because the noise levels are just not intrusive at all. It's got that beautiful throaty sound if you turn on the sports mode, but you could just be talking on your mobile phone or talking to your mates and no one's going to be having that ear-piercing sensation that you can sometimes get with outboards that really pump a lot of noise into the boat. Okay, just looking for traffic, looking for swimmers, looking for birds. I'm going to do some turns in a second. There's a nice Azura 50, that's quite classic, Australian made. All right, over some waves. This is really great, guys. It really is. I'm going to whip it through a corner, or whip it through a turn, I should say, in the flat water. Let's just accelerate, see what we can do top speed. Now the wind vortices are catching up, trimming the engine up, 38 knots, full throttle, 5,800 revs, 41 knots. This is the 400 horsepower, 42 and climbing, a bit more of a trim up, clear of birds, 43, 44. Okay, feeling a little bit light there, but directional stability is good, 45. Okay, she's not chine walking, 46, really nice. That's incredible. Control is the name of the day here. Okay, let's go through a nice tight turn, go through that turn at 34 knots. I can feel the keel digging in here, and once again, my directional stability is nice. That is nice. Sometimes, you know, if you've got a flatter bottom boat, open boat like this, they'll want to kick out a little bit at the arse. This one does not have that sensation. Okay, lovely. Let's go find, I'm going to go downwind, and then I'm just going to run it into some waves now, because I know you're going to want to see how bumpy it is and how much water, if any, is coming over the side. Just coming in at 33 knots, wind coming across my port side there. So yeah, obviously with a boat like this, you'll probably already know this, you're going to be using it for a lot of summer day boating. It's a really convenient, sexy sports car. How's the colour on this one, by the way? I really like this colour. It's something different. But come the cold days, come winter, you are going to need a puffy jacket. Just suck it up. So now we've got some good fetch building up here. I got a little bit of swell coming in through the heads. I'm going to go into the swell. You can see the white caps. Hopefully that's coming up on that camera. I'm doing that at 25 knots right now. So that's going straight into the waves. And now we're going to go straight into the wind. Maintaining 23 knots. That's just delightful. Let's get through this boat wash. Choppity chop. Any waves coming up over the front? Nah. Excellent. Man. A little bit of water on the side pillar there now. Okay, let's increase that speed. Going up over a few rollers into some considerable wind chop now. The boat just feels solid. Directional stability is good. I feel fantastic being able to wedge my back into this position here. Would I sit down through this sort of conditions? Nah. And let's just speed it up a little bit. That's 27 knots. Let's go faster into the wind. That's 32. Really good, guys. Really, really good. This is a boat I'd be very, very happy to just use as a Sydney Harbour sports car. Take it offshore, run it up into these now 20 plus knot nor'easters with short, sharp little ones. Perfect coastal inshore sports car. I really like this. We'll get it into the shallow water and see how she behaves in there, but this is fun. Thumbs up. Probably one of the best little whips that I've driven in a while. See you soon. So bow thrust is optional, operating the anchor from back here or up the front. It's all very simple, guys. So if you are not so concerned about the overnighting capabilities that you can get on many adventure boats, and you're more of a sports car, day boat, commute, have fun type person, lend to your kids perhaps, and also simplicity, coming into docks, rafting up with your mates, putting it up on the beach, then this boat could be more suitable for you than something like an adventure boat. It performs very similar. I'm telling you now, this is probably one of the best ribs I've driven through chop in a long time, possibly ever. So that was a really fun and interesting experience. If that's important to you, do consider one of these 28 GTs because it really is that good. Dry, fast, cutting through the chop, a lot of fun. Check it out.